So we're here in another Lockleaze garden. This belongs to David and Christina, and they've done loads of really good work to lay the foundations to then create a wildlife garden. So they had a huge area of concrete here that they worked really hard to break all that concrete up and remove that material to get it back to soil, which will really benefit, creating a wildlife garden in this space. They've also created a raised herb bed, which is actually close to their neighbour's fence, so they can share the herbs, which I think is a really nice idea, because then you're building community as well as wildlife. They had a visit from the Avon Wildlife Trust Team Wild Ecological Advisory Service. So Amy, the community ecologist, came over, looked at the garden and recommended a number of things, putting in bird boxes in the trees, putting fruit trees and a wild border along the fence, and they've actually already taken up the advice and planted an elder tree in the corner. But today what we're going to do is take two of the suggestions, which is creating a pond and creating a stumpery, and the simple premise is we're sort of digging out the pond and then using the material from the pond to build up a mound, and then putting the deadwood and stumps on the mound, and then planting in all sorts of ferns and different wild shade tolerant plants to create a sort of shady deadwood area. It's almost simulating what you'd find on the forest floor. So that's what we're creating today with the material that we dig from the pond. So we've chosen to do a stumpery in this garden, and it's a great thing to do if you've got a shady bit of your garden. And what we're trying to do is replicate almost that woodland floor environment. So you've got all the deadwood and the stumps, which is really important, because in a woodland environment about a third of all species directly depend on deadwood, and then all the insects and creepy crawlies that use that deadwood as a habitat will then go on to feed the birds and the amphibians and everything else. So deadwood's super important and often tidied up or burnt in modern gardening practices, so it's good to have some of that in your garden. And then we're also going to plant a lot of shade tolerant plants. So we've got, so people often wonder what to do with a shady part of their garden, but there's loads of plants that will love growing in the shade. You've got all the ferns, you've got ground ivy, we've got common guanwell in here, things like foxgloves and campions will also grow in shady spots. So you can always create, if you want to jump online and Google stumpery, there's loads of inspiration on there, and then you can make use of a shady part of your garden, and then all the mini beasts and small mammals will hide in a pile like this as well.